You're watching East Tennessee Weather, powered by Rusty Wallace Automotive Group.
Good morning, 7:01 right now. Checking that time this morning, so hopefully you don't run late if you have travel plans this morning. Now, this morning's live broadcast, Wake Up with Witcher, is sponsored by East Tennessee Renovations. It's a family-owned and operated residential remodeling company specializing in kitchens and bathrooms, and they're also passionate about accessibility. Like I said, they're family-owned and operated. They take pride in their communication and scheduling skills, cleanliness on the job, and overall customer satisfaction. They specialize in remodeling and make it their goal to make any project the most hassle-free and least impactful to the rest of your home as they possibly can throughout the entire process. As I mentioned, they are passionate about accessibility. They are certified aging-in-place specialists. So if you happen to be in a home and a wheelchair or something were to happen to you and you need to widen your doors or check out the layouts of your rooms or change your floor transitions, they are the ones to call. East Tennessee Renovations, LLC. Visit them online at easttnrenovations.com. That's easttnrenovations.com. Or you can give them a call today at 865-233-3657. So here we go again, my friends. The storm system is setting up shop, and we have another one moving its way on into our area. Yes, we are talking about another winter weather advisory that has been issued by the National Weather Service. Of course, we're going to be talking about that this morning, and it's more in the form of some light freezing rain. And that's not going to happen today, but it's going to happen tonight. Brief window anyways, before we switch over to a light snow and crashing temperatures on into our Friday afternoon. So big changes on the way. Once again, kids are not going back to school today. I called that one last week. I was like, there is no way possible with the pattern that we have in place that these kids are going to be going to school this week. And lo and behold, they're not. But I will give you a silver lining, even though we are going to be talking about a winter weather advisory throughout the tonight and through the day tomorrow. And yes, we have a chance for some light freezing rain. The silver lining is everything will melt and thaw away because next week, temperatures will be at or even above average, which is in the upper 40s. So that's good news to pass along. But before we get there, it is going to be cold for sure. All right, for those of you that have to travel out and about, that's a live look at Interstate 40 in Weisgarber this morning. And again, the interstates are doing just fine. Watch out for black ice this morning. It is bone-chillingly cold. And so any standing water is, again, going to be black ice this morning. And then we're talking about maybe even some light freezing rain. So a glaze of ice is possible tomorrow morning. So something to keep in mind if you have to be at work tomorrow early in the morning. Either A, you need to check back in or try to figure out a different thing or a different way to get to work, whether you do it tonight and maybe sleep at work. But again, this is not a major ice storm, my friends. We're not talking about power outages and trees falling, not that kind of an ice storm, but a light glaze of freezing rain is possible. So let's go ahead and take you to the weather headlines. Increasing clouds, finally above freezing this afternoon, but it's this afternoon, not now, of course. A winter weather advisory goes into effect tonight and runs basically through Saturday. Friday for the valley and the plateau, Saturday for the mountains. And yes, the mountains will get more snow out of this. Not a ton, but more snow than what they saw earlier this week. Oops. We'll talk about the app here in just a moment. Let's talk about current conditions if anybody's getting out on the roads this morning. Again, we talked about this yesterday. Cold air is dense, it's heavy, it sinks to the lower elevations. And because the valley is lower than the mountains and the plateau, it drains into the lower elevations. And so therefore, our temperatures in the valley are currently in the single digits, while the higher elevations are now in the teens. 19 degrees currently in Crossville. When you look at your 24-hour temperature change, all of us are running warmer than what we were yesterday. So we have that going, even though it's not warm. It's just warmer than yesterday. 24 degrees warmer, though, in Cumberland County. So that's great to get the day started. But we still have those wind chill values. So wind chill values in the single digits and teens to get the morning started. So bone-chillingly cold. Road temperatures are down into the teens. And that's why I said any standing water on the roads from the melting and thawing that we saw yesterday is going to be black ice this morning. So if it looks wet, it is black ice. So keep that in mind. All right, we do have clear skies, and that's going to give us a beautiful sunrise here this morning. We'll go back to the cameras here in just a little bit to see how that sun is coming up over the eastern sky. No major issues when it comes to visibility, so we're not dealing with that freezing fog this morning like what we were yesterday morning. So getting you out the door as we get this good old Thursday morning started, January 18th. Can you believe it's already January 18th? We start off in the single digits and teens. We'll climb into the upper 20s by noon, so we're still not above freezing, even by the lunch hour. And but this afternoon, of course, will be above freezing, as I mentioned. All right, let's take you to our future cast. And so we start off with clear skies. Heading into the lunch hour, temperatures gradually warm. Clouds will start to increase, those high-level clouds anyways, a sign of a changing weather pattern through the evening hours. So again, no travel troubles through 7 o'clock tonight. This is what it looks like at 3 o'clock. No travel troubles, not a lot of moisture moving its way on through. But notice as we get into the 7 o'clock hour tonight, here comes a little bit of light rain, and yes, the possibility of some light freezing rain. That's for the Cumberland Plateau. We're not going to see it in the valley until after about 9 o'clock tonight, and there's a small window during the overnight hours that we'll see some light freezing rain before it switches over to a light snow for some of us. And that's going to be insult to injury. And just the whole storm is insult to injury, really, based on what we've been experiencing and having to deal with all week long so far. But the Cumberland Plateau will likely get a light freezing rain and then maybe some light snow on top of that, and that's going to make for some really tough travel early tomorrow morning. All right, so forecast highs today will top out in the mid to upper 30s, maybe a couple pockets of low 40s down across the Southern Valley, but generally speaking, at least we'll be above freezing. Into the evening commute, we're at 34. Then temperatures start to come down 7 to 9 o'clock. And again, a chance for some light freezing rain as we get into the evening hours. But I think in the valley, it's going to be more so after we go to bed tonight. But definitely subject to change if it speeds up just a little bit. So the National Weather Service has issued a winter weather advisory. Many of you probably saw that on social media yesterday. And if you did, well, they've expanded it. So some of you ask questions, why aren't this county in there? Well, now they are. So most of East Tennessee is under winter weather advisory. Again, it begins tonight at 7 o'clock. So let's pick up our timeline tonight at 7 o'clock. And here's what it looks like. Again, a little bit of lighter precipitation across the Cumberland Plateau, a little bit of light freezing rain possible. That's going to continue into the overnight hours. And so a little bit of green, just because it's green showing up on the model forecast doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to be freezing rain. And we'll talk about what freezing rain is here in just a moment. But then it switches over to a light snow. So anything that happens while we're sleeping could be in the form of light freezing rain, maybe a few flurries, some light snow showers by sunrise tomorrow morning, and low temperatures are going to be hovering just below freezing. Anywhere from about 22 degrees in Crossville to 28 in Knoxville, 31 in Chattanooga, and 29 in the Tri-Cities area. All right, so your temperature trend. So we start off with temps hovering right around freezing tomorrow morning, at least in the valley locations. But look at this. Temperature is going to come crashing on down. So as we get into the afternoon and evening hours, here comes that Arctic air, and the Arctic air is going to come racing on through. And that's what's going to help to produce more light snow showers through Friday night and into our Saturday as we wring out the atmosphere. Think of it as a sponge. Remember, like if you have a dry sponge or like a damp sponge and you wring it out, you're like, okay, cool, I got all the water out. But if you really wring it out, you can squeeze out a few more drops. That's what Arctic air does. And that's why it's going to produce a little bit of light flurry. Some of you also on social media said, hey, I saw some little ice crystals in the sky yesterday or even the day before or early in the morning hours. And that's true, because that's that cold air. Cold air just doesn't hold a lot of moisture, and so it just kind of wrings out and precipitates anything that's in the atmosphere. And so that can be in the form of some light crystals, and so that's why we saw that yesterday. So heading from our Friday morning through our Friday afternoon, again, some light snow showers. The northwesterly flow is going to set up shop. Cold air comes racing on in. That's going to squeeze out more snow across the mountain counties and across the highest peaks of the Smokies. Again, this is not a major snow event. This is not a major ice event, but it is just insult to injury based on what we've had to deal with over the last couple of days. All right, forecast highs tomorrow. Again, don't be deceived. That's not necessarily in the afternoon. I think that's going to be the first part of our day. I think afternoon, those temperatures come crashing on down, as I mentioned. All right, here we go. So rainfall or precipitation in general, because this tells the story. While it's not going to be all in the form of rain and or snow, this just lets us know how much moisture is available, basically, or how much moisture could reach the surface, and it's not a lot. We're talking about tenths of an inch of rain, or hundredths, I should say, in most locations. So not a lot of precipitation, but could be in the form of some light freezing rain. So as we look at that freezing rain accumulations, as we head through the evening hours, not a lot of activity through 7 o'clock tonight, but watch this, overnight tonight, here comes a little bit of light freezing rain, a light glaze is possible overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. While this graphic doesn't necessarily show or look very impressive, and it's not going to be impressive by any stretch, it's just the indication that we could see that light freezing rain taking shape. And it's not just in the valley, it's the plateau and also the mountains. And then as that snow machine starts to crank up, that northwesterly flow, here comes the classic horseshoe, the plateau, southeastern Kentucky, southwest Virginia, and the Smoky Mountains. Do we see a little bit of flurry activity here in the valley? Yeah, can't rule that out. But I think we're just going to lose a lot of that moisture. And so as that happens, we may see a few flurries. So I'm not, again, expecting a major snow event, not a major ice event, not a major rain event by any stretch, but definitely an event to create some trouble spots early tomorrow morning. And then through the day on Saturday, we're going to continue to ring out to more snow, mainly in the mountains of East Tennessee and into North Carolina. Could see maybe up to 4 inches of snow across the highest peaks of the Smokies. So today we make it to 36, your 3-day forecast. Friday, we're going to see a little bit of light freezing rain, some light flurries. We're at 34, down to 22 degrees on Saturday. So remember, I said it's going to be chilly as we get into our Saturday. We'll highlight the big picture weather pattern here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and say hi to everybody. Come into the chat. If you're joining us on Roku TV or Amazon Fire, open up social media or YouTube on your cell phones, and you can add to the conversation this morning. If you do have any questions, I'll try to answer as many questions as I possibly can before we move on to the big picture weather pattern and highlight the regional forecasts for those that may be traveling around the region. We got a lot of folks on here that do travel and like to see that regional forecast. So, and then we'll come back and wrap things up with a nice local view of what's expected around town as well. All right, so good morning, everyone. Anybody have any questions here this morning? Kimberly says she can't even get out of her driveway. I've been able to get in and out of my neighborhood, but it's just snow-packed and icy for sure. So, yeah, a lot of us have not been able to leave the house for much of the week. And with freezing rain or the possibility of some light freezing rain overnight tonight, many of us probably won't be able to do much throughout the day tomorrow. But as I mentioned, we will see a melting and thawing occur next week. There is a chance for some more rain next week, so we'll keep you posted on that. And as we get the melting and thawing and maybe more rain, maybe that could lead to some other issues like rising water. So we'll see how that plays out in the short term. Let's talk about what's going on with the event over the next couple of days. Julie says, no freezing rain, please. Yeah, tell me about it. That is literally the worst. And I'll highlight what freezing rain is here in just a moment, because freezing rain is such an interesting phenomena, but it is one of those things that we have to talk about. And so freezing rain is just literally rain falling to the surface. Okay, so let's highlight that here in just a moment. It's literally rain falling to the surface because of a warm layer in the atmosphere. So let me show you what that looks like, Ben. I'll come back to the chat here in a second. Freezing rain profile. So when you look at the atmosphere, you have to look at the entire column of the atmosphere, all the way up where the airplanes fly, because it all makes a difference. That's like why the jet stream is important, because that's that river of moisture where airplanes fly, but that plays a huge role on what happens here at the surface. And so when you're talking freezing rain, you have moisture coming in. It's likely to fall in the form of snow. It will fall in the form of snow way up in the atmosphere, and then it comes through a warm layer above freezing, and you get full melting to occur. So now you have raindrops. But at the surface, Arctic air, cold air is very shallow, and depending on the depth of that cold air at the surface and really the depth of the warm air above the cold air really depends on how it plays out. So it rains, it hits the ground, and freezes on contact. So you step outside, and it is literally raining outside, but it's making ice on the surface. Metal objects, bridges and overpasses, they are likely to see the event. They are likely to see more icing occur because they're colder and the earth is a little bit warmer, but freezing rain is a possibility. So yeah, falling to snow, melting, and then turns back into ice as it makes contact to the surface of the earth. All right, good morning, Chris, Challenger Chris. Good morning, Katrina. We got you on here this morning. Linda's got her milk. Good news there. Let's see. Linda says, no way, Crossville. Snow gets dusting. They put on. All right, Linda, you're going to have to elaborate on that one. I have no idea what you're saying. Linda Parsons, Linda Dayton. All right, 6 days out of here. So Buck's almost out of here. He's getting ready to enjoy some nice sunshine and warmer temperatures. We are all jealous, by the way, Buck. Yeah, anybody know what John Sevier Highway looks like this morning? Is it clear? I have not seen. I don't know. But if you're on this chat and you want to add to the conversation, let Tiffany know what John Sevier Highway looks like. If you've traveled it, it's probably fine. I would imagine it's fine. Kingston Pike's fine. Some of those other streets I've been on, North Shore in West Knoxville, so those are fine. So I would imagine John Sevier Highway is fine. But again, any melting or thawing and it looks wet, it is going to be icing. So black ice is looking likely here this morning. So Jerry's looking forward to above freezing temperatures. Is everybody else? Everybody else looking forward to above freezing temperatures? I am too. I love cold air, but I only like it when it's snowing. So, Monday, Tuesday was amazing, but when it's just that Arctic air, it cuts right through you. And even if you have sunshine, it just doesn't do much. But, man, you definitely need the sunglasses. You step outside, and you're like, whoa, it just blinds you. Let's see. Buck's over this winter. Anybody over? Come on, Buck. Come on, man. We didn't have much of a winter last year, and so it's nice to see some snow. But it's nice to see some snow and then see it go, right? Oh, man. Hey, Mike, I work Saturday morning. Will it be safe to drive to work, says Samuel. Likely. Saturday morning would be just fine. Because, again, today's Thursday. This is more of an event tonight. So I think we'll have issues tomorrow morning. Now, of course, Saturday morning, that anything's in place, we're back down into the Arctic tundra. And so like the last couple of mornings, maybe not. So let's see how it all plays out. But I would say, Samuel, at this point of the game, I would think that the TDOT crews will be out. And again, they're running out of salt. I saw a story that they're running out of salt. And so we'll see how this all plays out and see what they're going to do with the roadways. But, of course, they still have to get out, and they're still clearing, and they're still working nonstop. So hats off to the city crews, the county crews, and, of course, TDOT and the state crews themselves. Will next week be warmer? It will. I'll highlight that when I take a look at that big picture pattern here, Maria. I'm going to talk about that here in a moment. How's the weather going to be in the Warburg, Petros, Joyner area? Caitlin says. I think like everybody else, we have a chance. Are you talking about tomorrow morning, I'm assuming? A light glaze. So many of us may not be able to travel tomorrow morning depending on how much moisture and how much precipitation and how much freezing rain we actually see. Remember, it's the matter of the profile. If that surface temperature in some locations is just above freezing, we won't get freezing rain. But if it's just below freezing, of course, since it's been so cold, freezing rain is looking likely. And remember, we can't warm the air temperatures up until we melt the snow away, so it's going to stay chilly, even though we are slightly above freezing today, which we'll continue to see melting and thawing, which is going to exacerbate the problem because some light freezing rain, cold temperatures tonight, more icing possible. So, again, travel is probably not advised early tomorrow morning. Watching from Crossville this morning, Kay, you probably have a better chance of some light freezing rain, a glaze tomorrow morning, and a light dusting of snow for anybody joining us from the Cumberland Plateau this morning. So, Kay, thanks for joining us from the Plateau. Pass along the word, by the way. We'd love to get more folks from the Plateau to join us early in the morning. Of course, remember, Wake Up with Witcher starts at 7 o'clock Monday through Friday, 8 o'clock Saturday and Sunday. Just a live weather update. You can always get the weather information with the East Tennessee Weather app, the 24-hour live channel, and, of course, the daily forecast that I produce every single day, 3 times a day or more if needed. Becky said, Lindsay says, I appreciate the way you teach us things. I appreciate the way you teach us things. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Lindsay, yeah, you know what? I love this platform because I actually can talk. I don't have 45 seconds to get the information out like I did in the old TV days. So this is my own platform. I can give you information. I can teach you things so you can learn more about the weather, I think, and stay on top of how the weather is going to play out. And I'll do my best. I'm not going to be perfect every day. I'm not going to be perfect ever. And practice doesn't make perfect. I teach my kids that every day. Practice does not make perfect, even though that's the term we've always heard our whole lives. Practice makes better. It makes improvement. We can always strive to be perfect, but I don't know about you, but I'll never be perfect. All right, let's see what else we got. All right, here we go. Maria says, my son works for Cherokee, and he said John Sevier was good, just a few icy spots. So there's the update on John Sevier. Maria, thanks for passing that along. It takes all of us, right? It takes the village to let everybody know what's going on. Mary Beth's a teacher. She loves this weather because you're not going to school. I would say you like this weather until we get to the end of the school year and we've used more than our snow days for the year. And guess what? They're going to be extending those days, extending the school year. Remember they did that a few years back? It's like, come on, man. Why are we got to do this? I know they got to get the hours, and the kids have to have so many hours per the education system. Yeah, Kimberly says I've been cooped up with with 9 months cooped up with 9 months olds and 2 dogs. Buck, take me with you. Buck, take us all with you. I'd love to go there. So, Lindsay, you're from Colorado? I'm from Colorado, too. She says, from Colorado, I love it when it snows overnight. It melts by 4 p.m. the next day. This is taking me back to growing up in Colorado. Where did you grow up, Lindsay? I grew up in South Denver. Just the Greenwood Village area is where I grew up. I-25 and Arapahoe Road. Yeah, Colorado weather, it's like it's warm one day, a blizzard the next day, and literally by the end of the day, sometimes the snow is gone, and the sun's out, and we're back into the above freezing. If you think the weather changes here drastically from day to day, or you know how they say, just wait a few minutes, the weather will change. Well, clearly that's the case because weather's fluid, but Colorado's more extreme. You get more extremes in Colorado for sure, especially when you get the Chinook winds to melt that snow away, really windy conditions across the mountains. They come down to the mountains. It's a snow eater. It's called a Chinook. We get the Chinooks here. It's a downsloping wind off the Smoky Mountains, but it also produces those high wind events that we experience in the Smokies as well. Ben Williams says, when does the cooking segment start? I don't know. Thought about it a couple times, Ben. I made some soup yesterday. It was amazing. I put the recipe in my social media page. It's so good. If you've never tried it, it's like the Toscana Zapato or something like that. It's the copycat soup from Olive Garden, I think it is. So good. It's like sausage and kale and awesome soup on a nice cold day. Ben, I'm glad you're joining us this morning. Mike, what happened to the fun traffic guy on WBIR? What are you talking about? Oh, you're not talking about me. You're talking about Ed Rupp, I'm assuming. If are you talking about Ed Rupp? Or are you talking about me when I did traffic? Because once Ed Rupp left, I had the opportunity to do traffic. I was voluntold I had to start doing traffic. So that's why I do it here too. But if you're talking about me or Ed Rupp, let me know. All right. So Challenger Chris says, don't take this the wrong way. I think this is a good compliment, Challenger Chris. He says, don't take this the wrong way, but I like you on here way better than on TV. Me too. Me too. It's just nice to be a little bit more relaxed. And I'm finding my ways. I told my wife the other day, and I talked to a buddy of mine who's doing this over in California as well. And I said, after doing local news for so long, you get in this rhythm, you get in this pattern. You have 45 seconds. You have a minute and a half to get the forecast out. It's just a run and gun like show. You just constantly, whoa, whoa, whoa. And so you get in that rhythm. And now I'm trying to find a new rhythm. I'm trying to find out what you like. I'm trying to find myself in this environment and how I can be more me. And I'm trying. So this is going to continue to evolve. But I appreciate that, Challenger Chris, because I like this way better too. Plus, I can just get the information out more. We can have more of a conversation. We can talk about the weather. I can answer questions. And this is what it's going to be like during severe weather. So you just wait during severe weather. If you've not seen the coverage I've done so far at the very beginning of East Tennessee weather, wait till you experience severe weather this come spring, because that's how I want this to be. I want this to be a question and answer. I want you to ask the questions. I want to help you with the information that I know. Instead of just being a presenter and a broadcaster, I'm a community member. I'm a friend. You're my friends. I love you guys. Anybody know about Asheville Highway? Does anybody know about Asheville Highway? I would imagine if John Sevier Highway is clear and with just a few icy spots, I would imagine Asheville Highway is also clear with a few icy spots as well. April's on here. Hey, April. Good old friends, long-time old friends. I haven't seen you for a long time, you and Heath. I'm sure your kids are like all grown up like mine. But she says, hey, thanks for the updates. I'm glad to see you back on the air. I know, so many people have not known that I've been doing this since October. I've been doing it since October, so it's nice to be back. It's nice to start to see people see where I'm at. I can't advertise with the TV stations and let them know that I'm here. That would be like, they're my competitors. So I have no way to advertise. Maybe I need to get a billboard. I want to get a big, giant billboard that says East Tennessee weather. They're a little bit on the pricey side. So we'll just do it organically, word of mouth. So if you love what I'm doing here, I would love for you to help me out by passing along the word, sharing everything that I share on social media, letting people know about the East Tennessee weather app. Because again, I'm on all the platforms, Roku TV, Amazon Fire, the website, the app, live updates right here on social media, whether it be YouTube, Twitter, both my Facebook pages, Mike Witcher TV and East Tennessee Weather Facebook page. So there's so many different platforms that you can get the information from, and I don't care what platform you get it from. It does not matter to me. I'm not like the TV stations that they want you to watch TV. Doesn't matter to me. Just watch it. Get the weather wherever you want it. This is why it's weather when you want it, not when I want to give it to you. I'm here, but you just come find the information. I've got it for you. Just come find it on whatever platform you want to. Let's see. See, Karen says, my son is flying into Knoxville Friday night between 7 and 8 p.m. We will be coming from Greenville. What will we likely be dealing with in terms of roads, travel, and to pick him up? Let's see. Friday evening, probably just some light flurries. Some light snow showers. Now, you're from Greenville, so you're going to see more snow. I don't think this is not a big snow event. Again, 4 inches across the highest peak, so I'd just say like 1 to 4 across the foothills to the mountains. But so check back in. I'll probably have a little bit. We'll know a little bit more by tomorrow morning. So Karen, join us tomorrow morning for Wake Up with Witcher at 7 o'clock. Come back to the chat. Ask the question again to remind me, because there's no way I can remember all these questions. And we'll try to answer that tomorrow morning. Let's just see how this plays out tonight, and let's see how much moisture is available on the backside of that for snow tomorrow. But I would be willing to bet, if you're not leaving until 7, 8 tomorrow night, I would be willing to. If I were a betting man, I would say you probably would be fine. But remember, temperatures are going to tank. Will likely be only in the 20s by 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So if you have date night tomorrow night, just keep that in mind. Well, we'll be listen, we're going to be above freezing today, so we've got that going for us. Marlene says, loving the personalized updates. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's what I'm here for. Any other questions out there? You guys, I'm telling you, you all are just so amazing. Felicia says, how do we contact you about coming to a community events in the spring? Go to the app. At the bottom of the app, there's a school visit one, and there's an advertise button at the bottom of the app or on the website. So just click on one of those, or just message me, Mike@EastTNWeather.com. Mike@EastTNWeather.com. Let me know what it is for, Felicia. Contact me that way if you want me to come to some of your community events. Remember, many of you may not know this yet, but remember, I've partnered with a radio station here in town. I've partnered with Joy 620 WRJZ. They're on the FM dial of 102.5 FM as well. And Talk Radio 92.3, which is AM 760 WETR. That's the Bob Bell Show. I actually was chatting with Bob Bell this morning right before I came on with Wake Up with Witcher. He asked if I could do a live broadcast with him to keep his listeners up to date. So I am doing weather updates for the Bob Bell Show and WRJZ. See if I can get the call letters. I just started with them. I have another radio station I'll be starting up in February with. I'll talk about that once we get there. And so, yeah, just trying to get the word out, trying to give you all the information that I can possibly give. If you're looking for advertisement, hit me up. Advertise at easttnweather.com or it's at easttnweather.com/advertise or Mike at easttnweather.com if you're looking for some advertising or some sponsoring. So Wouldn't be able to do this without you. Wouldn't be able to do it without the community, the small businesses, the big businesses. This is the Mike Stevens home studio. He built this studio for me. Amazing. So he's a major sponsor of the show, of East Tennessee Weather, and also Rusty Wallace Auto Group is the main sponsor. He was the one that really got me going. That was my first sponsorship that allowed me to do exactly what I'm doing. So I wouldn't be here without them. And of course, all the sponsors in the bottom left-hand side of the screen. And lots of stuff. I've got a new website coming up soon. I'm trying to get my cameras live. So many of you know that I've installed cameras everywhere, and I'm working on just a little piece of the puzzle to get these cameras live. And if I do, and I get it to work, they'll be live on the website, live in the app. They'll be live on the channel. They'll be live on YouTube. You could literally go and watch any of the cameras. My big goal is to get them at all the golf courses and all the marinas here in East Tennessee because we have such a golf community. We have such a lake community. It would be amazing to get cameras everywhere. And they're free for you. Doesn't cost you $1. I'm paying for it. I'm fronting the money. Think about it, my friends. Got Dave McKinney on here this morning. Let's see. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. He said, I've noticed a big jump in viewers. Yeah, me too. It's been nice. Nice to see the growth. Nice to see that people are coming back to me. Nice to see that people are trusting me with the weather information. He says, it's awesome to see you without the drama of news. Amen to that, brother. Glad to see this is working, and I hope it continues to grow. Me too. So thank you very much for that. Positive affirmations are what makes this world go round, right? I don't want any negativity here. That's not what this is about. I'm a very positive person. I love people. I love crowds. I love people. I love our community, and that's what I wanted to do. So if you've not downloaded the East Tennessee Weather app, do it. I put the links in the Wake Up with Witcher link right now. If you're on social media, just go to the App Store or the Google Play Store or Roku or Amazon Fire and just search East TN Weather, and you'll be able to find it. I want this to be in the background of your homes instead of local news. The local news is so negative. And listen, it's all local news. It's all news across the country. It is so negative all the time, and it just drove me nuts. I'm not a negative person, and so I was like, I don't want any of that in my life anymore. And plus, it's family friendly. I don't want my kids to see that. So if you have kids and you want to get the weather information for the day today, Wake Up with Witcher. Just put on the 24-hour channel in the background. It plays music. It goes through a loop. From 6 o'clock in the morning till noon, I come on about every 5 to 8 minutes with a forecast and current conditions broken up into different parts of East Tennessee. And then during the afternoon, I come on about every 15 minutes. So I really just wanted to play a part in your morning and your morning routine. And so I want to give you the updated information. And, of course, I've got commercials I got to run, and we have current conditions, but I don't have a lot. And so it's not a nuisance. And that was my goal from the get-go, too, for doing this whole thing. My whole goal was clean like Apple, a little flashy like YouTube, hence the microphone and the YouTube style. But I wanted to be clean and easy. I don't want to be inundated. How many apps or websites do you go to and you don't even know what's on there, what's real, what's not real, because it's loaded with advertisements from like Google AdSense and all this other nonsense? Google nonsense? Just kidding. But, you don't even know what's real. So I don't have any of that on my platforms at all. All my sponsorships and advertisements are for our community, local, all the time. Let's see, coming out of Baltimore, should be in Knoxville by 5 a.m. Friday. What will I run into? I drive a big truck. What is on me? A stink bug. These stink bugs have been invading this studio. I can't get rid of them. Come on, leave me alone. I'm broadcasting over here. What's with you? Stupid stink bugs. All right, coming out of Baltimore, should I be in Knoxville by 5 a.m.? I drive a big truck. Coming out of Knoxville 5 a.m. Friday, so that's tomorrow morning. It's going to be interesting. It could have a nice glaze of ice on the road. So it just depends on how much precipitation precipitates out of the atmosphere. It depends on how much freezing rain we get tonight. It's a close call in the valley. The best chance for freezing rain will be on the Cumberland Plateau. I will say that. The best chance is across the plateau. But freezing rain is a possibility. Let's see if I can help you out here just a little bit. That's Barry Allen. So I'm going to show you some model data. This is just going to be raw model data. Let me get this up on the screen here. So I would never really show this to you with my weather system, but I'll give you an idea of what it would look like for freezing rain from Baltimore down to here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. I'm just going to show you the internet, and so let me get this on here for you, and we'll go to Google Chrome. Well, that's little. Let's get that bigger here. Hold on. Well, I'm not going to be able to make it much bigger. So let's see. So I'm just going to run this in. This is that freezing rain. So this takes us all the way through Saturday. So again, you'd be fine coming out of Baltimore. Once you get into Virginia, down 81, I think that's 81 that runs through Virginia, maybe. You might run into a little bit of light freezing rain tomorrow. Let's see, this would be tomorrow morning. So this is sunrise. This is sunrise tomorrow morning. What you looking at the map here? Let me see what's going on. So it's hard to see. I can't really. I can make it bigger here. Hold on. We're gonna do this on the fly because I'm here to help you out. All right, so we're just gonna go like this. I'm just gonna adjust this. This is gonna look really weird for just a second. Bear with me. I just want people to be able to see this, and I'll get rid of this real quick. So this is some light freezing rain up Interstate 81. This is by sunrise tomorrow morning. So not a lot, but that's the icing. So as you come out of Baltimore into East Tennessee, you might run into some icing. Probably a little bit more icing along the plateau, into the mountains as well. And then look at West Tennessee. West Tennessee could see some decent icing as well. So let's put that back to normalcy. We'll go back to what that will look like. All right, there we go. All right, so that's just the internet. Just wanted to give you an idea. So who was that? Barry Allen asking what was going on as he travels in from Baltimore. So there you go, Barry. So hopefully early in the morning, you'll probably deal with some light icing up near Tri-Cities coming down the I-81 corridor. Let's see. Not quite sure what Jennifer said there. It's kind of blanking out. I've had to throw some. Oh. So I've thrown on some little things on the social chat over here. So like cuss words. And so I see that you put passed, P-A-S-S-E-D. Your app along to a friend. So Jennifer says, hey, I really appreciate all that you're doing. I passed along your app to a friend yesterday. Thank you. But because it's the P-A-S-S-E-D, it blurred out the ASS, so I didn't know really what it meant. So, because I don't want cuss words on here. No cuss words, no negativity, but the AI machine basically just took that out. So I had to read between the lines. Anyways, let's see. Laura's ready for the snow to go. I worry about flooding next week. Yeah, it's because another rain event's on the way, so we'll see. I don't think it's going to be a big flooding event so far, but it depends on how much rain comes next week. How does Monday look? Okay, so let me go to the big picture. All right, let's move right along. I said I was going to go back to the regional picture for folks traveling. I'm sorry, I digress. I got too busy answering questions. All right, let's go back to the weather maps. There we go. Okay, so to highlight, recap the weather headlines, now we're going to go to the regional picture. Increasing clouds, finally above freezing for a little bit today. Winter weather advisory tonight, basically through Saturday. Arctic air moves back in this weekend, but yes, above average weather heading our way next week. So here's the big picture weather pattern. The storm system's coming in out of the southwest. It doesn't have a ton of moisture, but you can see how this is going to be scooping its way on through the area. That's going to be an Arctic front again. That's what's going to drop our temperatures or really tank our temperatures tomorrow afternoon. So a little bit of light freezing, not a ton tonight. More of that's going to be overnight tonight. Most of the snow's to our north, and then wrap around moisture on the backside of that to produce some light snow showers throughout the day on Friday as those temperatures come on down. So here's your freezing rain forecast across the region. It looks like West Tennessee is probably going to get more. So if you have travel plans into West Tennessee tonight or tomorrow, well, really through the day today because that's further west, keep in mind freezing rain is a possibility in West Tennessee, also into Jackson and Nashville right along Interstate 40. We're not talking about a major freezing rain event here in East Tennessee. It will be the higher elevations. The plateau looks to be more likely of a location to see more freezing rain. But on the backside of that, look at the classic horseshoes back. And we'll see some light freezing rain, some light snow showers on the plateau. So through the day on Friday is going to be more of the snow event. Overnight tonight is going to be more of the light freezing rain event and not a big event either way you slice it and dice it. It's just insult to injury. Up into West Virginia, any skiers or snowboarders out there, Snowshoe West Virginia is going to get walloped with more snow, which is going to be amazing. They're looking at possibly over a foot of snow into parts of West Virginia. But remember, I said Friday is going to be cold, falling temperatures. Here comes that Arctic air mass, the Arctic train setting up and moving its way on through. So that's the key player because Arctic air is pushing in. It's going to be pushing a little bit further to the south and southeast as we head through the day on Friday. That's why temperatures fall on Saturday. And that's why we'll wring out the atmosphere in some light snow showers because it doesn't hold a lot of moisture. Temperatures today across the region, 20s, 30s. Hey, some 40s, 50s, and 60s to our southeast. Tonight, or tomorrow's forecast high temperatures, I should say, are going to be early. Those teens and 20s to our west in Paducah and Nashville, that's going to be moving into our area through the day tomorrow. And so when you look at your temperature trend, down to 22 degrees again on Saturday. And here's the silver lining. Temperatures are going to be back into the 40s and 50s as we get into the middle part of next week. But low temperatures, here we go again. So as we head into the weekend, make sure you take care and use precautions for your homes again because we don't want frozen pipes. I did hear a few reports yesterday of some frozen pipes. And so make sure that if you don't have any frozen pipes yet, that's good. But with single digits and teens heading our way, anything under 20 degrees basically could present issues with frozen pipes. So make sure you insulate appropriately, open the cupboards up. We talked about that yesterday. I'll talk about that again tomorrow probably tomorrow for the upcoming weekend and highlight some of those freezing pipe tips. Freezing pipe tips. Tips and tricks? Yeah, anyways. So the silver lining is we're actually going to warm things up once again. All right, let's go ahead and finalize things. I'll kind of recap everything. Here's your future cast locally. Beautiful sunshine early on. Grab the sunglasses. Increasing clouds throughout the day today. And then as we head into the overnight hours, really anytime after about 7 or 8 o'clock tonight, we'll start to see some light precipitation move its way toward the Cumberland Plateau. So 7 o'clock, we could. So that's, I would say, probably around 7 to 8 Central Time, 8 to 9 Eastern Time. We'll start to see a little bit of activity. So a winter weather advisory, because of this event, has been issued by the National Weather Service, and they've expanded that. I'll put this back on social media, so make sure you share all this information. Don't keep sharing the one I put in last night, because that's now not necessarily updated information. So make sure you check and see what the post. I always put the date on the post, so you know exactly when that post was issued. And then you can check the timestamps as well. But overnight tonight, here comes that light precipitation, a little bit of light freezing rain, not a major event, but a light glaze is possible by sunrise. So I think light freezing rain anywhere from 1/10 to upwards of 2/10 across the northern plateau. So hazardous travel overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. I think freezing rain could start at 9 p.m. These are my notes. These are all my notes. These are my forecast notes. So I sit down and I forecast, I write a bunch of notes, I dive into the atmosphere and just try to give myself some notes. So now I'm not on TV like the old days anymore, so I don't have to like memorize it or just, it's like reading a book. You study, or it's like doing a book report. You study, you read the book and you study and you put your presentation together and then you have to go tell that book report, right? So that's kind of how I presented on TV. But since I'm not on TV that way anymore, I can actually read my notes. But I said plateau freezing rain could start as soon as 7 p.m., but I think about 9 p.m., changing to a light snow. Let's see, I have 9Z, so that would be, so this is Zulu time, so let me do the math here. So that'd be 7, 10, 1. So yeah, maybe changing over to snow probably after about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. For the plateau, that is. And so if you get a light glaze, then you get a light dusting of snow on top of that. That's going to make for some tough travel tomorrow morning. Let's see. What other notes do I've got? Let's see. In the valley, it gets going anytime after about 3Z. So 3Z would be 7, 8, 9, 10. So anytime after about 10 o'clock tonight, we could start to see a little bit of light activity here in the valley. I think it's going to be a cold rain to start. Maybe a little bit of light freezing rain, then a cold rain, and then cold air races in after about 9Z. So right around sunrise, we're going to start to see that Arctic push. 12Z is sunrise, basically. That's about 7 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock when we're on the other daylight side of things. But I think cold air is just really sunrise or so. Cold air is going to start spilling its way on in. So it's going to get cold on the plateau early tomorrow morning and through the entire day. I have temps drop after about 12Z, which will be 7 o'clock. It's going to be cold Friday night, and then a few flurries kind of being wrung out of the atmosphere as we head through the day on Friday and into our Saturday as well. It's going to be a cold, raw winter day on Saturday. But I think the biggest concern really is going to be tomorrow morning. So let's continue our future cast. This is 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. A light dusting of snow possible in some locations. Let's continue this future cast throughout the day tomorrow. We're going to ring out the atmosphere with the light dusting of snow tomorrow afternoon, especially for the plateau, the mountains, the northwest-facing slopes. I say that because the air's coming in from the northeast, the wind's out of the northeast. So this is a totally different ballgame than what we saw earlier this week. And so then it's just going to kind of ring out the atmosphere in the form of some light snow. Temperature trend on Friday. Remember I said temperatures are going to be tanking. This might be conservative. We might see temperatures falling a little bit sooner than noon to 2. But either way you look at it, afternoon temperatures are likely to be in the 20s. Wind chill values will be in the teens tomorrow afternoon. So if you have evening plans tomorrow night, we're going to be down to about 20 degrees wind chill values in the single digits and teens. So if you have Friday night plans, when we're talking precipitation-wise, we're not looking at a ton of precipitation. So this is not a major precipitation event. But when you break it down and look at different kinds of precipitation, what do we see? Well, again, some light freezing rain early in the morning, and then switching over to a light coating of snow, but mainly across the plateau and the mountains. And when you look at your temperature trend over the next 3 days, it's going to be chilly. 36, so at least we're above freezing today, maybe slightly above freezing tomorrow, but we'll see how that all plays out. And then temperatures falling into the 20s tomorrow afternoon. That sets the stage for low 20s as we get into our weekend. And as I mentioned, on the temperature trend over the next 7 days, we climb back to the 40s and 50s. And so after this cold Arctic air has been in place, I feel like that's going to be warming. I mean, you might as well pull out the shorts and T-shirts next week. Because it's all relative, right? Now we're acclimated to the cold air. Now it's going to get warm. We're going to be like, oh, 55 is nice. Go put on some shorts. All right, 7:46 right now. Let's go ahead and check that. Let's check in on the roads one more time for you folks. Anybody traveling? I'll go back to the roads here for a second. Let's go back to that for you here. Let's get that back on the map. No. What are you doing? Sorry, almost, let's see. All right, let's get this back on the map. Let's see if there's any accidents out there. Make sure that's broadcasting. Yes. So if anybody has travel plans, it doesn't look like there's any accidents in Knox County. We'll go up to Tri-Cities. Doesn't look like anything's going on there. Down the I-75 corridor, looks like we've got some slow-going conditions for folks joining us from Chattanooga. This is right around the Bancroft Road area. So let's take this. This is the 64 bypass. Let's see what this looks like. Yep. So slow going. So we do have a slowdown in Chattanooga on the southbound lane going into Chattanooga if you have travel plans there, if you're joining us from the Southern Valley. But again, I cover all of East Tennessee, so I've got to go through all of it for folks joining us from Knoxville. Let's see. Oh, that's the same area. Let's close that out. I got to get this T-Dot thing figured out. I don't have a cool traffic computer anymore. I just have these things. But we'll come into downtown Knoxville, see what the roads look like in and around Alcoa Highway and Interstate 40. And again, see, the roads are drying out. They're clear, but black ice is going to be a problem here this morning. So do travel safely. Just know that we are talking about increasing chances for rain, some light freezing overnight tonight. So keep that in mind. The music has been cued, my friends. That means the show is coming to an end. It's 7:48, so hopefully you're not running late to work. If you have to go to work, if you're not going to work because the kids are out of school and you have kids, enjoy another crunchy, cold snow day around East Tennessee. Grab the sunglasses and the jackets. You'll need those throughout the day today, as it is going to be extremely bright with that snow on the ground. Remember, we have to use the sun's energy to melt the snow before we can warm the air around us, and so that's going to be a process. This snow is likely to be with us. I bet we still have snow on the ground through Monday afternoon. I bet. I bet even Tuesday. I bet we still have snow on the ground by Tuesday. Let's see how that one plays out. Any bets out there? Any bets? Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Download the East Tennessee Weather app on all the platforms, whether it be on your cell phone, Google Play Store, the App Store for Android and iPhone users, on Roku TV, Amazon Fire. Don't forget to go to easttnweather.com. And again, pass along the word. Wake Up with Witcher starts at 7 o'clock Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, it begins at 8 a.m. And guess what? I take the holidays off. There is no fooling around. I am a family man, so I take the holidays off unless a storm moves in. All right, you've been watching Wake Up with Witcher. I am meteorologist Mike Witcher. I hope to see you back here tomorrow morning. And don't forget to check out social media. I'm going to give a quick shout out to my sponsors, a couple commercials. We'll send you back to the 24-hour channel. If you missed some of this morning, I will come back on screen. I come back every 5 minutes. I'll leave that up for a little bit, and then we'll shut it down, and you can come to all the other platforms for the weather information for the day. I'll be posting more on social media in just a short while. Happy Thursday. You all are my favorite people ever. I'll see you back here tomorrow.
Hey folks, it's Jake from Rusty Wallace Key of Knoxville. We're kicking off the new year right. You'll save more than ever before in 2024. The price won't be the problem with deals like these. Get rates as low as 0.9%. Get $7,000 over KBB value for your trade. Plus, every new vehicle comes with Rusty's exclusive, no charge 200,000-mile warranty. And don't forget, the price won't be the problem at Rusty Wallace Key of Knoxville, I-75 at Callahan Drive.
You're watching East Tennessee weather. Weather when you want it.
Hi, everyone. Sure hope you're having a great day so far. As we head through the day today, enjoy it. We're going to start off with plenty of sunshine, albeit chilly this morning. We're actually going to be above freezing throughout the day today, so we've got that going for us. But the clouds will be increased because our next storm system arrives tonight and through the day tomorrow. A winter weather advisory has been issued by the National Weather Service, basically tonight through Saturday. I'll explain details here in a moment. Arctic air moves back in, though, as we get into the weekend. And then finally, some relief from this Arctic air mass and more average temperatures are heading our way next week. So getting you out the door here this morning, we've got plenty of clear skies. That's allowed those temperatures to really fall off. So single digits and teens once again. We'll climb into the upper 20s by lunchtime, so still staying below freezing through noon. But as we get into the afternoon, we're going to start to see above freezing temperatures, which is great. All right, so clear skies, plenty of sunshine early on, so make sure you grab the sunglasses. But as we get past the lunch hour, here come those clouds, and here comes our next little disturbance. Now, this doesn't have a lot of moisture with it. Let me just throw that out there, okay? But with that said, we've got Arctic air in place, cold surface temperatures, and moisture moving through leads us to the possibility of some light freezing rain. So by 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock tonight across the Cumberland Plateau, we could start to see some of this light icing occur. So something to keep in mind if you have travel plans. Forecast high temperatures, as I mentioned, we're going to be above freezing, possibly close to 40 degrees near Chattanooga. We'll be in the upper 30s in Tri-Cities, Crossville at 34, and Knoxville right around 36 degrees. So into the evening hours, we'll go 34 degrees by 5, 7, 9, 10. After midnight tonight, we'll see the chance for some light freezing rain slowly work its way on in. The National Weather Service has issued a winter weather advisory. I'll talk about that. We'll talk about the freezing rain and, yes, even the chance for snow. That's coming up in just a few minutes. I'll be right back. All right, and winter weather advisory has been issued by the National Weather Service, and they've expanded it from what I threw on social media last night. So here's the latest information from 7 o'clock tonight, basically through Friday, Saturday time frame. The higher elevations all the way through Saturday morning, but everybody else through basically Friday night. So we are talking about some wintry weather. We brought you up to 7 o'clock tonight. Now let's go ahead and pick up our timeline, 7 o'clock tonight, and you can see a little bit of light precipitation. Now, again, we don't have a lot, but the atmosphere is very cold at the surface, and we have had snow on the ground, and so therefore freezing rain is going to be a possibility. So a light glaze is possible on the interstates, not to mention switching over to a light snow as we get into our Friday morning. Forecast low temperatures tonight. We're going to be below freezing across all of East Tennessee. Again, you got to melt the snow before we can actually warm those temperatures up. And of course, we'll get a little bit more melting and thawing throughout the day today. And then through the day on Friday, we're going to get that wraparound moisture in that northwesterly flow. So Friday morning is going to be the warmest part of the day because temperatures will come crashing on down for the second part of the day as this Arctic air mass settles back in. And that's going to wring out the atmosphere. So that is going to bring us some light flurries, light dust and snow in some locations, but again, chilly. So when you look at Friday high temperatures, don't be fooled because we start off with temps hovering right around freezing, but watch this as we head through the day. Temperatures come crashing on down. So as we get past about noon, that's when those temperatures come tanking on down, and that means low temperatures on Saturday morning are going to be back down into the single digits and teens. So when you're talking precipitation, rainfall amounts, if you will, not all this in the form of rain, but so very light moisture expected to push into the area. So now let's switch over to the fact that light moisture could be in the form of some light freezing rain. So when you look at your freezing rain forecast, we'll pick up our timeline at 3 o'clock this afternoon. And here we go. By 7 o'clock, we'll start to see some of this light freezing rain move its way on through. And as we get into our early morning hours of Friday. Again, it's hard to see on the map because we're not expecting a whole lot, but 1/10 of an inch, maybe up to 2/10 of an inch of some light freezing rain, especially across the northern plateau, can't be ruled out. That's going to make for some tough travel conditions early Friday morning. So something to keep in mind if you have travel plans, could have some freezing rain and another chance for icing. Now let's switch over to the snowfall product. Again, through the day on Friday with that northwesterly flow setting up shop, that's what's going to usher in the light snow showers. Classic locations, the classic horseshoe, if you will, the Cumberland Plateau and the mountains. And the mountains will continue to wring out the atmosphere with a little bit more snow as we get into our Friday night and Saturday, and then possibly through the day on Saturday as well. Not expecting a ton of snow and shouldn't have any major problems when it comes to snowfall forecast, but really I think it's Friday morning with the light icing that's going to present a little bit more of an issue as we wake up on Friday. So today we make it to above freezing. We'll be above freezing for some locations on Friday morning, not all locations, but the idea is falling temperatures Friday and that Arctic air mass sets up shop. So Saturday, we're down to 22 degrees. I'll show you what it looks like on the big picture weather pattern if you have any sort of travel plans around the region.